why it's important to have that contact before that first week, so you guys can make sure your emails are working and things are good. One supervisor I know, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, is gonna be driving somewhere, but she said, I will have access to my email the whole time, no problem. So, yes, that first week, it will be a daily email to your supervisor. Second week, also a daily email, but they will come visit you once, and then they will also be grading your TPA. So they are your support group for that TPA. If there is any problem that you have, and I don't mean like the teacher uses an easel instead of the whiteboard. I don't really mean that. That's happened. I've had that call on a Friday night for sure on my cell phone, which is dandy. But a real problem, okay? If there's something that you need to contact me on, email me. I get that easier than probably a voice message, okay? So email me if you need something, okay? And I can do whatever. I can zip out to the school, I can whatever, okay? And I will say the same thing for student teaching too. That's what I'm here for. If you have trouble, or if you have a question, or if you don't know what to do, or something doesn't feel right in your stomach, you need to email me, okay? That's my job, that's what I'm here for. Yes, ma'am?
This sounds kind of rude, but who are these people?
What people?
Are university supervisors, are they professors, are they random?
Oh, I found them at Walmart. So you should be fine. No. Yes. Yes. Well, this is only 2 weeks, so the not clearance went to the, no. Okay, university supervisors have to be approved through the education department. They have to be approved through the dean, and then they get to be part of our university supervisors. Their qualifications are a license, teaching license, and a master's degree, okay? Depending on what you are, I tried very hard to make your university supervisors have the exact same content area that you have for their licensure. Okay, so if you're an elementary person, you have someone who has taught elementary, okay? Maybe someone who is an administrator at elementary. Some. Not everyone was an administrator. Some people have a master's degree that were not principals, but we have a few supervisors that are principals. Some are superintendents, okay? If you are a high school math person, you have someone that is licensed in math, okay? Because I wouldn't help you, okay? I wouldn't be able to help you, so I want somebody who can, because you're gonna work on TPA, you've got that academic language, things are very important, and you need to have the right support. Okay? So that was a good question, because I didn't think, you haven't had a supervisor yet, so this is important.
Typically, they're retired teachers, a lot of times. There's a couple of them that work like half-time, so then they get this in. But there again, it's why it's so important for you to really be in email communication, because like what day they can come and whatever. If they've got something else they're doing, you need to rearrange around that, so.
And some of them, our part of the staff, I don't know how to say that right. Some are adjuncts that we're using. And so it was, even more exciting. I really tried for our special ed people to have someone in special ed license. So I'm really trying to make sure that you have one supervisor. So your supervisor for your Ed 304 and your SPED 304 are going to be the same person, because I thought that was important that you had the same person. So I needed to make sure we had someone with SPED. Any other questions on that? Yeah.
What do we say in our daily emails? Like, do they just want to know, like, it was a good day, or do they want to know, like, every detail?
You're right.
I tell you what not to tell them. We started with the morning meeting, then we went to that, then we went to, they don't want your agenda of what happened during the day. Okay?
Reflection stuff.
Yeah.
Today we learned, or I watched my teacher, and she had a great transition plan. Totally gonna use this transition plan. Or, oh my God, it was an epic fail. I don't know what she was thinking, but we tried to paint the kids' feet and it was a disaster, paint everywhere, never doing that. Whatever, but it's gotta be what you're getting.
Okay.
We know that at 8 o'clock you did the pledge, and then you took breakfast count, and then we know that. We've done that, everybody's done that. Okay, so this is what you're learning. What are you learning? I'm totally gonna use that, or I will never do that. You will learn what to do and what not to do. That's important, that's why we're sending you out. So what you're feeling, what you did, we really talked a lot today about these new math standards, or whatever you're doing in the school. The state, or our school adopted this new program. We talked a ton about Daily 5, this is what we're doing. I learned a lot about it. I hope to use that in my classroom, those type of things.
what I tell people a lot is to say something about like what, especially if you're teaching that day or you're leading something, you're doing the spelling test that day. What went well today? Why do you think it went well? So obviously that's something you want to keep doing and think about why it went well. What did not go so well for Dave? For you, for the teacher, for the kids, what didn't go so well and why? What could you do differently to make this go better the next time? We don't expect everything to go just awesome every time you try it, right? Wouldn't it be great, but it doesn't turn out like that. And same thing for your teacher. Like you said, if you see your teacher tried something and this was awesome, this was great, or this did not go so well, why? Why do you think?
How could I fix it?
That's that reflective piece, you know, it's kind of thinking back.
And one thing again, of things that I see, one thing that irks me as a former administrator is when someone says, well, I couldn't really get very far through that lesson because the kids were really naughty. That's a classroom management problem. That's your problem, not the kids. Okay? And I will be the first to admit, it took me a while to get that as a teacher, but that is the deal. So when I am reading, you know, these things and people, right? Joanne agrees. She's like, amen, back there. But no, really, that is a teacher problem. That is a huge pet peeve for me to read a reflection that says, wow, I could barely get through the math lesson. The kids were super naughty. Okay, take a step back. How are you going to fix that? Because guess what? No matter what you're given, you are asked to teach that class. So figure it out. And again, that goes back to rapport. Okay? What I started with, when you get those kids with clear, firm classroom management, your expectations are known, they know that you're going to support them and they're going to support you, things will work out.
You might want to take a look at the classroom teachers. What kind of management style is she using? What does she do for transitions? What does she do when a kid is misbehaving? I mean, what are the rules? You aren't going to be able to set up your own rules in a week.
Nope. You're going
You
to
have
need to use
what's there.
Use it.
In your textbooks for this class, a lot of times I kind of flip past some of this stuff too, but they actually have some sheets that are really good that you can use in the classroom, like here's some things to look for when you're observing, or here's some things to look for when you're reflecting on a lesson. They have some questions that you can answer. Great questions to put in your emails to your university supervisor to have in those reflections then. Right. So they can kind of help you with some things. So look at some of the activity sheets that are in your textbook. They'll help you with some of that.
They might do the clap, they might do, who knows what they do. Okay? And on the flip side of that, just because I can say it because I'm standing right here, keep in mind, you will, get a lot more flies with honey. That positive support is a whole lot more beneficial than that negative support. If I stood here and said, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, or if I came over and, you guys are doing so great at your table, and give them the old reminder, don't. Okay, I get it, but the more you just harp and harp and harp, everybody starts going astray. Because everybody would kind of like that attention too. Okay, so if you're giving the positive attention, it works better. We all work for it. We get positive reinforcement every time you get a paycheck. True story. I've had teachers say, well, I don't believe in positive reinforcement. I said, I can keep your paycheck Friday. They didn't really like that idea. So we just went ahead with positive reinforcement. So, think about that. That's the truth. Same with the kids. Doesn't have to be money. Sometimes candy works, just saying. But, positive. They want to know you love them. Okay?
Some other things that you can look for when you're just observing those first couple of days, how much time are the kids on task? That's huge. If you're in a classroom a whole day, how much time is actually spent learning?
And those transitions.
Because when they're not learning is when they're crazy. So, the more you have them on task, the better your day will go. Right? Anybody else? Anything you can think of for the good of the whole? If we did not get you your placement, I apologize. They are downstairs. Miss Marcia's so organized. She over-organized me.
Got it right.
And that's okay. But that's awesome. It's a good thing for her. If you need it, you can come stop down and see us, okay? Anybody else? No? Okay. Have fun. I know the kids are excited to see them.
Oh, yeah.
This poor girl has to have mine. I know, baby. Bye, guys.
So in terms of when you do your TPA, especially for secondary, I would say the vast majority of secondary people don't do their TPA till the second week, just because you're getting used to the kids and kind of finding out what the flow is, and that's fine, okay? A lot of the elementary early childhood people like to get it out of the way this first week, especially if you're doing one that you've already started. the math or the developmental reading. If you're already doing that and you want to just finish teaching that out, you certainly can get it done that first week. We're not going to say no, you can't, absolutely not. No, you're fine doing that, it's up to you, okay? So that is your choice. You work that out with your mentor teacher. You do need things like the signature to do the videotaping and all of that, which is in D2L, so take a look. But we can't go in and tell the teachers, hey, here's when everybody's going to do something. It's got to work for both of you. But that communication with your university supervisor is huge. They need to know, make sure you're sending the emails. I will tell you, some university supervisors will answer back every night when you send them the stuff. Some will answer you at the end of the week. That's okay, but.
For the signatures, can we use the same signatures you got from like our action research?
Yes, for this one, if you did the videotaping for action research and all, you're fine. When we get to the actual TPA, there's a different one because that one gets forwarded to Pearson, so it doesn't just stay, here on campus and whatever. So that one's a different one. But yep.
So if I wanted to use like the one that I did in math this past fall, they are long past that. So do I have to do anything else with that during like pre-student teaching?
During that time, probably not, as long as you have all the components.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you've got the lesson you taught, the one you videotaped, and the samples of student work. If you have those pieces, then just finish out the lesson plans around that, finish out the commentaries,
Okay.
and you'd have it all.
Okay.
So, yep.
Do you need work from every student?
No. You do need, how did the whole class do, like a summary overall on each thing, but you only need work from 3 sample students.
Okay.
Anybody remember what the 3 sample students are? Who, I should say, kind of specific, someone said it.
Is it like the highest grade, lowest grade, kind of in between?
Yeah, depending on what you have in your class. If you've got students on an IEP, they like you to include work from that student, okay? Or if you have a student who's an English language learner, they like that. In some of our schools around here, you will still occasionally get the pretty homogeneous class where they all look like me. Scary but true. So, yeah, if you don't have kids on an IEP, you don't have other cultures in your class, you can't do anything with that. But then choose kids who really struggle, kids who are really high flyers, and some in the middle, because you will always have that. But actually in the TPA writing, it says IEPs, gifted and talented English language learners, are their first choice, and then anybody, But you only need 3 samples of student work for that part. Okay? Other questions? Okay. I had another thought. I think I lost it already. What it was? I think what are common questions?
Don't forget about next week.
Yeah, next week, make sure you're back. We'll go through all things TPA and really dive into that TPA and what do you need to do. I remember what the other part was now. You're going to be videotaping. You need to know, how are you getting that video off the camera and onto live text? Because your university supervisor needs to see the video. And I can't tell you how many people don't know how to get it off the camera or what they're going to do with it. So you need to figure that, especially if you're using your own equipment, okay? Do you have the cord that gets it off the camera, or do you have the drive that it takes to get it off the camera and into the computer? There's a program called Handbrake that you can download for free. This is one that we found out a couple years ago when we started doing TPA. Nobody had told us that the Pearson end had a limit on how big the file size could be, and they still do. Live text has no limits. You can upload a whole hour's worth of video and they won't even blink. It's fine. But when they went to submit to Pearson for their student teaching, it'll only take 500 megabytes. And no one had told us that. And so once we first started having people having issues trying to upload, we contacted Pearson and they were getting lots of emails on the same thing, and within 2 hours we had a free program, works on every computer, Macs and everything, with directions and screenshots. And what it does, I'd encourage you to use it this time. Just A, you'll know how to use it for student teaching, but B, it compresses your file. However big it is, it compresses it down so that it uploads much, much faster. And it also is much faster for your university supervisor to view it. The other saving grace to it is it automatically converts the file to the right format so that anybody else's computer is going to be able to take it. So no matter what you saved it in, it will convert it to this one that's TPA approved. So it's nicer for you when you go to upload it. It's going to a lot less time. Otherwise, if you're on a school's T1 line, it's pretty good. If you're on a wireless network, even here at school, to upload or download that 10, 15, 20 minutes of video can sometimes take like half an hour. And if you're at my house, it's gonna take you 2.5 hours to do that. So, it's much easier to take it through this handbrake, you'll know how to use it, but then it'll also take, 5 minutes and you'll be done. So it goes a lot easier. So we'll make sure we post the how-tos on that. It's a program you download, you're gonna get all those security warnings about, are you sure you wanna do this? It is safe, it can't do anything to your computer, you'll be fine. It says it takes like, it says something in there, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes for every minute of video, and it really doesn't take anywhere near that long. It goes fairly quickly. I've had a lot of people doing it in my office if they weren't quite sure what to do, and it's pretty fast. So I'd encourage you to, get that, get it on your computer, and that part will help too. So like I said, we'll go through more of all of that next week too. So. Any other questions? Yes.
When we contact our supervisor, are we supposed to call them right away?
I would. It's nice if you call just so they have a voice. That's the thing about email is it's very impersonal. It's nice if you just call them and say, hey, this is me. I'm the person that was assigned to you for supervision. Find out from them. Do they want, tell them you're going to be sending an email every night. Should they answer you back? What would they like to hear about for questions? Ask them a little bit about them. What's their background? Kind of nice to build up that rapport. These folks have a lot of experience. They can help you through a lot of messy situations, which is really nice. Use that experience. That's what they're there for. You've got kids who are being just a royal pain today in class, asking you any ideas about what you do with, this little Susie who just will not stop talking. They probably got some good ideas about what they can do. Not to pick on Susie. I picked Susie because that was actually my nickname when I was little. So. But anyways, but yeah, use them as a resource. They can really help you handle some of these things. They've been, most of them have been teaching for like 30-some years. They've got lots of experience they can help you with. So
they expect you, when you write to them, that it will be professional.
Yeah,
and
professional
you will
writing.
check your spell check and your sentence structure. Do not send them garbage.
Yeah, please capitalize your I's. Don't use the texting.
You're going to be teachers. It's
Yeah.
important that you spell correctly, you write in sentences, you do the capital I's.
It is entirely possible, not likely, but it could happen that the same person might be your student teaching supervisor. So you obviously want to also, like Nicole was talking about, making a good impression. You want to make a good impression on your university supervisor as well, right? Because they are also going to tell us in the end, are you ready to move on to student teaching? Your pre-student teaching is the gateway to student teaching. If this doesn't go real well, we will work with you, but you may end up doing this part over again until we know for sure. We're not going to put you out there for a whole semester if you're not ready yet. We're going to be here to support you and help you get ready. But this is the gateway to that. We need to know that you take this seriously, the writing is serious, that you are ready to go from kind of part-time teaching to full-time teaching.
Just one other thing that I am thinking about, we had students last year who still haven't gotten their things in. You do not get a grade for this class until everything is in.
Yes, which means you do not move on to student teaching,
Right.
because you can't have any incompletes to go on for student teaching. So that's the other piece I was going to mention too. You will need to make a visitor's pass of your TPA. So that portfolio, not your teaching portfolio, but your TPA portfolio in live text, you'll need to make a visitor's pass for that. Probably the number one problem I run into on that is it's about a 3-page set of directions and people stop after page 2 and they aren't done. And they've made a code. The code is of no good till you hook it up to the artifact you want to send. And I bet I've had 6, 7 emails from some folks because they didn't read the directions to the end. Go all the way, make sure there's no more paper to go. You've gotten through every direction. I think it's like step 12 or 13. Then they work just fine. And you can check it yourself. Once you get your live text code, log out, go in using the visitor's pass and put your code in. Make sure you can actually open your TPA or go on a different computer. Have somebody else try it. Just make sure it works. And that way your university supervisor won't have a problem. You'll get your grading time and everything will be all good. Because that's usually where the issue comes, is that they either haven't submitted everything they're supposed to or they never got that visitor's pass thing working because they didn't read the directions. So read.
So, if you are a procrastinator, this is not the time to be one of those people. Okay?
Yeah.
This
Get
is
it
the time
done.
to buck it up, get it done, get it over with so you can move to student teaching.
Yeah. Procrastination does not serve you well here.
No.
And I know you've all got 900 things to do this semester and I get that.
Right.
But this one's important. That's what I tell people all the time. We all make time for the things that are important to us. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, same 7 days a week. We all choose how to spend that time. So you get to prioritize. Sleep, rent are all really good things. You also need to make sure you get some of this stuff, wrapped up, taken care of.
So watching your
Stand up.
favorite show a couple nights